In the age of kings and castles, most people slept until sunrise because they believed rest was the only reward after hard work. And during this time, a poor man named Everard lived unnoticed by society. Everard was exhausted and hopeless, but one day he discovered a powerful secret hidden in the quiet hours before dawn, a secret that required no luck or magic, only the courage to wake up while others slept. Everard lived in a tiny hut near a busy market town where he often slept hungry, waking every morning with nothing and surviving by carrying goods and cleaning stables for very little money. He watched wealthy men wearing fine clothes and eating meat, wondering if they were smarter or luckier than him, even though deep inside he knew he was strong and intelligent too. Yet Everard felt trapped by poverty and believed his suffering was written by fate. And the worst pain was not hunger, but the feeling of being invisible and unimportant. One evening, an old merchant stopped near Everard's hut with a broken cartwheel, and after Everard helped repair it, the merchant shared food and warmth with him beside the fire. While they sat together, the merchant spoke not about luck or destiny, but about time, saying that kings and peasants receive the same daylight, yet the man who uses the darkness before sunrise lives twice as much. Everard could not understand the meaning of the merchant's words, but even after the old man went to sleep, those mysterious words continued echoing in his mind. Determined to test the advice, Everard slept early that night, and before the rooster crowed, he forced himself to rise despite the cold darkness and his body begging him to stay in bed. Outside, the village was silent and peaceful, and for the first time in years, Everard felt calm as he washed his face in the cold river and sat quietly thinking about his life. As he walked through the empty market, he noticed details and opportunities he had never seen during the noisy daytime, and in that silence, his mind became sharper and clearer. When the sun finally rose, Everard no longer felt helpless like a beggar watching others succeed, but hopeful like a man beginning a new life. Remembering his old broken axe, he sharpened it carefully and entered the forest before anyone else woke up, already completing hours of work before sunrise. He chopped wood for himself instead of for others, stacked it neatly, and carried it to the market while other sellers were still preparing their stalls. A woman bought his firewood, and although the money was small, it allowed Everard to buy a real meal with meat, making him feel dignity and pride returning to his life. That night, he marked a line on his wall and promised himself he would repeat the habit every single day, no matter how difficult it became. The following mornings were even harder because his muscles ached and the cold felt sharper, yet Everard kept waking before dawn and chopping wood every day without fail. Slowly, he saved money, bought a better axe, worked faster, and earned more, until eventually he purchased a second axe and realized he needed help to grow further. Everard hired a poor boy to work beside him, and together they produced twice as much wood, soon making Everard the largest and most trusted woodseller in the market. Merchants preferred buying from him, people respected his name, and Everard understood that they admired not luck, but the discipline created by his early rising habit. As his dreams grew larger than his small hut, Everard discovered another town where wood was scarce and people were willing to pay triple the price for firewood. He hired more workers, offered them better wages, organized carts full of wood, and bravely traveled through dangerous roads to reach the distant town. The people there desperately needed wood, so Everard sold everything quickly and returned home with more money than he had ever seen in his life before. Instead of wasting his fortune, Everard reinvested wisely by building warehouses, buying more tools, and hiring more men who followed his early morning routine. Eventually, Everard stopped chopping wood himself because his role had changed from laborer to leader, spending his mornings planning, thinking, and expanding his business. He moved his mother into a warm stone house, and every morning at 5 a.m., he still remembered the old merchant whose simple words had changed his life forever. Years later, the merchant returned and saw Everard transformed into a wealthy trader, but he reminded Everard that success came not from advice alone, but from discipline and action. Everard realized that the sunrise and the world had never changed. The true transformation happened inside himself when he stopped seeing mornings as punishment and started seeing them as gifts. He taught his workers that the first hour of the morning belongs entirely to them, because silence allows people to think clearly before the noise of the world begins. While competitors woke up late and rushed carelessly through their days, Everard and his workers always stayed one step ahead because they began earlier than anyone else. Over time, Everard became the richest man in the region, and his wealth was built not from magic or genius, but from thousands of disciplined early mornings. As an old man, Everard told his grandchildren that everything he wanted in life was found in the darkness before dawn, where purpose turns fear into peace and opportunity. He taught his grandson to wake before sunrise as well, and the boy continued the habit, becoming successful and passing the lesson down through future generations. The village later built a monument honoring the old merchant, symbolizing how valuable time and discipline truly are for anyone who wishes to change their destiny. Everard's story became legendary because it proved that success is not about luck or talent, but about the daily choice to rise early and use the silent hours before the world wakes up.